What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We've got a lot of new ships coming to the game, and that should be no surprise because there are always new ships coming to the game. That's what makes this game money. So, kind of exciting though. Some of these ships are ships that represent large gaps in the game, or at least ships that, in my opinion, should have been here a long time ago. Other ships are ships that I don't think should be in the game, or at least one of them is. I mean, it's more that papery type of ship, but, you know, we're just going to talk about them and let you know what they are, and I'll let you make your judgment on whether or not you're interested in them or not. And the first one's going to be the Tier 10 Forrest Sherman, which is the lead ship of the Forrest Sherman class destroyers that were built for the United States Navy after World War II. Kind of an interesting addition in my opinion. I wish that we would get the Alan Sumner class. It only exists as the Yu Yang, and I believe that it's one of the larger missing links in World of Warships. I think that it's necessary to have that ship in the game, especially the USS Laffey. It would make a very good anti-aircraft destroyer. Also one that would be similar to the gearing in ways. Maybe slow its torpedo speeds down, reload time, while increasing its AA. I don't know. But Forrest Sherman's coming in the game, and it's going to be kind of limited in what it can do, at least with its guns. I envision this being somewhat similar to really fast gunboat type ships, you know, your Vampire-esque 2 type ships. And that's really because you don't have a lot of guns on this thing, which post-World War II ships didn't have a lot of guns on them. They started focusing towards other things, anti-submarine warfare, anti-aircraft, things like that. And I think that's what you're looking at here. You don't have a lot of guns. You only have 2 twin-tube launchers on each side of the destroyer, so it's going to be very interesting to see how this ship gets into the game and how it's utilized. But I have a feeling that it's going to be very fast-firing, very quick. So, you know, it might be interesting. It's a historic ship, so I'm cool with that. I like the fact that they're using a ship that really existed. So this one does excite me a little bit. It is a Tier 10 ship. So it's got to be able to compete with those gunboats up there, because once again, you're very limited in your torpedoes. They are gearing torpedoes, so they will be good, but you don't have a lot of them. They will reload fast too, and you do have smoke generator, so it'll be interesting. You have defensive AA as well. Want to throw that out there, once again going with the theory that this is going to be an anti-aircraft ship. But moving on, we've got the Tier 10 Soviet cruiser Sevastopol, and here we're kind of moving on to the paper realm of things. This was a Project 69-I ship. It's quote-unquote a small battleship, 6 powerful 380mm guns. Hopefully it'll be a glass cannon in that you've got big guns, but it'll also take hits. I don't know if that's going to be the case, though, because, once again, this is Tier 10, and we know that they have a propensity at the higher tiers to make the cruisers very, very strong, like Stalingrad. So, this is one of those ships that I'm not a big fan of coming into the game, just because I'm at the point where I don't like paper ships. I mean, some of them have been fun, but a lot of them have also wrecked things in the games, like Thunderer, just not being good for the game. So this one's coming, and I don't know. I'll let you be the judge on that. But, you know, Russia's got to have their way. They got to put Russian ships in there. So Tier 10 Sevastopol, large artillery ship. Swift small battleship. So we'll see what that exactly means for this Tier 10 cruiser. I'm thinking it's going to be like the Stalingrad. So, moving on to Tier 6, the first Spanish ship, true Spanish, as in Spaniard, as in Spain, where I have a lot of my family, where they originated from. Yes, I am part Spanish, believe it or not. The Canarias, and again, this is based on the British County class ships. It is a real ship, so very glad to see an actual Spanish ship make it into the game. we're kind of missing these right now. And at one point, I think most of you will know that Spain had an amazing naval fleet, the Spanish Armada. No one expects the Spanish Inquisition, so it is just a tier 6, but I think it's cool that this is coming to the game. Definitely going to start filling in some gaps, some large gaps. And now we're moving on to another tier 6 that fills another large historic gap, and another ship that I think a lot of you will be happy to see, the tier 6 Dido, which was the lead of its own ship class. This is going to be a very AA heavy ship, which it was in real life. I'm thinking this is going to be a destroyer hunter. You look at the gun layout, the triple dual turrets on the front, or the 3 dual turrets. I'm kind of excited about this ship. I mean, though it might be just a tier 6, you know it's going to be somewhat fast firing. It's got 5 turrets total. It's got torpedoes. It's got short burst smoke generator. This thing looks like the full package right here. I'm sure it's going to have very, very thin armor. I'm sure it's going to be easy to get deleted if you are caught broadside. But out of all the ships they've listed, I think this one honestly excites me the most, just because it is a historic ship, like the Forrest Sherman, but this is one that its exploits and the exploits of the ships in this class are known of in World War II, so the history buff side of me sees this ship and gets very, very excited, as I know many of you all probably are excited as well for this ship, especially those of you that are over in the UK. This does fill a very large gap in the game, so it's good to see an actual historic ship and not a paper ship making it in the game. There are several more of these hiding out there. There are ships that we still need that we haven't got. I already mentioned the Alan Sumner class cruisers. It would be nice to get them in at some point. So there are still historic ships that can be added, and not necessarily clones either, like the USS Johnston that I want. And moving on to the last ship that's going to be added, at least the last ship mentioned in this devlog report, we've got the Tier 8 S-189, which is a Soviet Tier 8 submarine. And I'm assuming that this is going to be a premium ship, either for purchase or some other way. So once again, this is just confirming that Wargaming is totally moving forward with submarines, making a full and complete introduction of them into the game, and we're going to start getting premiums. Now, it's no surprise that they're adding this ship, this boat, as it is, because submarines are referred to as boats. This Tier 8 totally makes sense. NATO reporting name was Whiskey. If any of you played the old Red Storm Rising submarine game for Commodore 64, the Whiskey classes featured somewhat prominently. They were pretty easy to sink, being diesel submarines. But yes, this ship makes a lot of sense because it is a museum boat right now. It is currently still around, currently in existence. It is a historic ship. It is not a paper ship, and I think this is a good way for Russia to introduce their submarines into the game. So even though I'm not big on submarines right now, I think it's kind of cool that they are adding this Whiskey class submarine, the S-189. So I mean, they got good use even up through the Cold War. So having this ship in the game it's cool. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that just because it's not paper, it's historic, and this one, again, is a museum ship that actually exists that you can visit to this day. So that rounds up the ships that were just mentioned by the dev blog. So we're moving fast forward with a bunch of new ships in the game. I mean, here are 5 total. Of varying utility, in my opinion. I mean, some of them, well, Sevastopol I probably will not play or try and bother getting, just because Russian cruisers, especially high-tier Russian cruisers, they don't intrigue me that much and interest me. And again, I like ships that are grounded in history and ships that were really out there. Forrest Sherman looks interesting again. I think it's going to be very fast firing. It could be very fun. Just because of those guns, I'm sure they're going to fire very, very fast. And again, it's historic. It's a real ship. It really existed. Same for the Spanish cruiser. I know a lot of you are probably going to be happy about that, especially those of you in Spain that play the game. And, you know, Dido, we needed this. Honestly, this ship should have been in the game a long time ago, so I'm glad they're finally getting around to it. Anyhow, I want to know your thoughts on these ships. If they interest you, if you want to go for them, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you have not done so already and you're a long-time follower. Make sure to hit notifications so you get these videos as they are created. And again, interested in hearing your thoughts on these, and I will catch you all later. Zoop out.